make sure that these YouTube videos aren't running too long, and I'd been going for 2 hours already, so let's start another. This is going to continue to take some time, as I'm drawing too many characters and too many details in this cartoon. So, back we go. I've had a pencil sharpening break, and I refilled my big water glass. I've got the TV on mute behind me with CNN talking about nothing but the debate on Fox News that doesn't have Trump in it. They can't get enough of talking about that, which makes me think this was a pretty good decision that Trump made. Just lets him dominate the news for another 4 days. And they're all going to want to cover his alternative event. I think it's a wise move. Although I don't think it's going to have the effect of depressing the ratings for the Fox debate that the Trump people seem to think that it will, because it'll be interesting just to see that he's not there. And his event, although nice to raise money for the Wounded Warriors, is not going to be as interesting a TV event as the debate that he's not at. So I think he needed a little bit more marketing thought on his alternative debate. Actually, what he should do is make that deal that Ted Cruz is offering, to have a debate with just Ted Cruz, and put that on at the same time as the debate. And I think everyone would prefer to watch that to the crowd of people on the stage. I would watch Cruz versus Trump. Cruz is actually quite an interesting debater. Good on his feet. Speaks well. Good complete sentences. Unlike me while I'm drawing, trying to think while I draw. Oh, Kasich needs his table in front of him. He needs his bowl. And his little leggies. These are babies. Actually, I don't need to worry too much about the perspective on these chairs, since this is cartoon perspective. Is pretty forgiving. Bits of crud around, crud on the walls. Nobody leaving any comments. I see that you're still there. I suppose everyone else took a bathroom and pencil sharpening break as well. a lot of detail in this drawing. Much to draw here. Oh, sippy cups. I haven't done any sippy cups. Here's a sippy cup. Yeah, I think that except for the fact that he doesn't want to give attention to Ted Cruz, now is when he could use Ted Cruz to beat Fox News out of all the millions of dollars in ratings that they would make for the debate. Give those millions to another network. Daryl Tunes writes, before webcast, what was your usual drawing atmosphere? TV music? Well, before a webcast, I would have the talking heads on the TV talking all the time. And I'm not really a music kind of guy. And also, you know, you listen to them on TV, gives you more cartoon ideas, and it's kind of the editorial cartoonist's obligation to be on top of all the news. So you gotta devote some time to that. I read a couple newspapers every day, but still, it's nice to have the TV on all day. I also spend a heck of a lot of time doing business junk. Unlike other cartoonists who don't also run a syndicate. And that takes time. I'm kind of like the editorial cartoonist bartender to the world. Lots of chatting with the other cartoonists goes into making this work. And that takes time. And then there's a bunch of contracts and terrible regulations. You would think that doing editorial cartoons is something that would not be terribly regulated, but that is not correct. I have all kinds of nasty tax rules and forms I have to fill out. Forms that make the foreign cartoonists just so angry that America withholds 30% of their royalties. And other countries don't do that. Why do you do that? I don't want to give my money to evil America. But, you know, I gotta follow the laws. And in America, the law is Uncle Sam sticks his hand in everybody's pocket around the world. And requires you to fill out a hell of a lot of forms. Daryl Tunes writes, I support your no music during webcast stance. That is my stance. No music during webcasts. I don't want to hear other people's music. If I want to watch somebody that's got music, I turn off the sound and I will not be having a conversation with them. But with me chatting like Popeye mumbles constantly, you can have music on in the background with me chatting. Make it your own music. They've got all kinds of nice little apps for playing music during your stream. They'll tell you what song is playing and junk. But I don't want to have to listen to other people's music choices. Daryl Tunes writes, tell us more about your syndicate. Love to hear more ins and outs working with cartoonists. Well, ask me some specific questions, Daniel, because I'm trying to draw politician babies here. And you've only got half of my brain working. Syndicate is about newspapers and magazines, print, where people are used to paying their bills, unlike the web, where there's this attitude that everything should be free and people do not want to pay for content. So when I do things like this streaming, I'm not exactly sure what the business model is for this. But it gets me interacting with more people. And if I do it right, I'm not really adding time to my day to do it, because I should be here drawing anyway. And it is taking the same time that I drew to do the video. Okay. Trump. So, all in all, I think Trump is pretty wise to skip this debate. It does give everybody else an opportunity to go on the air and criticize him. But then, when they do that, they're talking about him. So, all in all, good move, I think. Daneltunes writes, how much time are you drawing versus doing politicalcartoons.com business? I'd like to say it's half and half, but I do spend more time on the business than I do on drawing the cartoons. I'm only doing 2 or 3 cartoons a week now. But you can see that doing a cartoon takes most of the day. And I need the other half of the time for the darn business. And you know, I do the invoices and the dealing with everybody, making sure things are right. I have an excellent tech guy in Theo who sometimes comments here. Theo is a great tech guy. And Ryan Farrington and his wife Stacy, who have come up in the conversation here, are excellent editors. And they do my syndicate promotion. Stacy is the editor of Cagle.com, and she updates all the cartoons there. They, along with me, check the cartoons for spelling and factual errors and email them out to the editors who want to get emails. There's a large percentage of the editors who still want to get cartoon delivery by email rather than going to the website to get it. And I think that's just because editors are old and set in their ways, and our competing syndicates deliver more by email and less by depending on people to come to their websites. we gotta check the cartoons for errors, and cartoonists are notoriously poor at spelling, and editors will not tolerate misspellings in a cartoon. So we check them for spelling. And we send them out to the lists, different lists. Spanish cartoons to the Spanish papers. It used to be that I had a much bigger audience online than even through syndication with 850 papers. And I'm not so sure that's true anymore now that we're not partnered with msnbc.com. So hoping to develop some new audience with the videos. Different kind of audience, maybe. That msnbc.com audience was fickle. Okay, there's Trump's empty chair. Another spoon. So I buy fine grain sandpaper at the Home Depot, and I just cut a piece of it out and tape it to the side of my drawing board. Lasts a couple weeks of chisel pointing my pencil, then I put out a new piece of sandpaper. Sandpaper is out of your view here. Sorry, folks. Although I don't think it's something you would be too interested in looking at. You might like to see my interesting coil of wires around my Mac Mini here. That's kind of a funny picture. Next time I'll take some snapshots of my working area and show you a few snapshots. Good for a laugh, I think. So this is video part 2 of this drawing. If you're looking at this and you haven't, and you wonder how we got to this point, you need to find video part 1. There may be a video part 3 if I'm going to color this online. I haven't quite decided. I'm not quite sure that the coloring is interesting enough where it's on video. Daryl Tunes writes, do you have an oversized scanner or do you scan it in parts and assemble in Photoshop? I have an $80 scanner and I scan in parts and assemble in Photoshop. This 14 by 17 paper should be 2 8.5 wide scans, but it never is, so I'll do left, right, and middle. And then I crank up the contrast so it actually looks like an ink drawing. And it looks pretty nice. I think everybody thinks I draw in ink. If I did draw in ink, it would slow me way down and make me too stiff. But yeah, $80 scanner works just fine. There's a bottle. One of them has not quite graduated to the sippy cup. Daryl Tunes writes, maybe the happy medium would be to have real-time videos of the drawings as you're doing and post speed painting type videos of the coloring. Yeah, one problem with speed painting the drawing is that, I turn the paper around all the time, which doesn't look so good. With the coloring, at least, you don't have that perspective issue because it's a screenshot and it's not going to be spun around. Let's take a look at Ted Cruz again. So in case you're wondering, this is what I'm looking at when I draw Ted Cruz. The Google images of Ted Cruz. And I'll take that out because I know he's underneath that. He does have a great cartoon face. And he is kind of a good character. The nose is wonderful. Wonderful nose. He also kind of looks, he's got these heavy dark eyelashes. He looks like he's wearing a bit of mascara. My tech genius Theo is telling me that he can make the drawings into speed drawings. We'll have to investigate these things as I go through the slow process of dealing with a little bit of technical issue each time. But you know, they're getting a little bit technically better each time. From a purely caricature point of view, who should win the election, writes Daniel Toons on Twitch. You know, whoever wins, the cartoonists are going to have some groupthink that makes them kind of go in the same direction with it, and then everybody's going to settle into something comfortable. So I don't think it much matters. Some guys are just intrinsically hard to draw, like John McCain. I don't think anybody drew a good John McCain. But none of these guys are as bad as John McCain. John McCain had a pudding face that had a particular look to it, but the main issues of it were the pudding face aspects. He was giving me technical advice, but I'm not really devoting my brain right now to anything but the drawing and the constant stream of mumbling. He's got some pillars going on. His hair is wrong. The face is okay, but the hair is wrong. He's got some receding hairline going on. Not too happy with him. He's going to have to wait a little bit while I work on the other ones as well. Work on some other stuff till I get Ted Cruz right. Ted Cruz is not right. I've drawn some other Ted Cruzes that were better. I could look back on old Ted Cruzes and see what I did last time. Daniel Tunes writes, tell us about your history with caricature. When did you start? Success or fail stories? Ever do the live caricature thing? No, I've never really been a caricature artist. I only do it in the respect that it falls into the jobs that I'm doing. I've done live drawings at times in different venues, but usually I try to discourage the caricatures because I find them to be kind of unpleasant, and people don't react well often when they see themselves looking as they actually do. Sometimes I'll go to a conference and they'll have it all set up like they want to have artists doing drawings for the public. And the public often comes up and says, "Draw me!" And so it's hard to get out of it. I did a conference in France where, after so many people saying, "Draw me," I put up a sign that said, I will draw you only if you are a bird. What kind of bird are you? And I find that kind of works, because people, once they realized that they had to be a bird, they kind of went with it. And people are generally pretty happy if you draw them as a bird. Le oiseau. I did in my younger days, my Muppet days, when I was working for the Muppets, they scheduled me to do live free drawings at Macy's department store on 34th Street, where they were having a kind of a Muppet product celebration. So I was this Muppet event, and they just sat me at a table and they said, "Draw Muppets for people, Daryl." And they gave me no support. There was no one managing the line. Like at Comic-Con, the last person in line, they'll hang a sign on them that says, "I am the last person in line." But I had no such thing. So apparently, while I'm drawing, not realizing it, the line of people filled the whole floor at Macy's and wound around on the floor, making a line that was so long that there was no way I was gonna ever get to the last person in line. There were like 200-300 people in line winding through the store. And then when it came end of the day, time for Daryl to quit, I said, "I'm going to quit in half an hour." And I yelled it out in little bits. But, people who've been waiting for hours in line all day long for their free Muppet drawing did not take to that very well. And I had kind of an angry crowd scene going on there. And I ran out of the screaming crowd with no support. But I have since learned. I see how elegantly they handle those things at Comic-Con. You don't just sit down and say, "I'm doing free drawings, folks." You have someone standing there managing the line. Daniel Tunes writes, has a famous figure that you have caricatured ever spoken to you about how you drew them? No. Never. Sometimes I'll hear from people who want the cartoon to hang on their wall as a trophy. But people who are not cartoonists tend not to ask process questions about your cartoons, except if it's something like, where do you get your ideas? Question that's a nothing question. Now, my chapter of the National Cartoonist Society here in Los Angeles created a logo for the chapter with a big motto in Latin, which sounds like nonsense Latin words, but actually means, in translation, where do you get your ideas? A question that has no good answer that everyone seems to want to ask. I thought that was a funny motto in Latin. Onti, that's some shaky line work, DW. You will get better with practice. Well, thank you, Onti. Actually, I had coffee today, and coffee makes my hands shake. And too much coffee and I draw like Charles Schulz. And frankly, I like Charles Schulz's shaky drawings. Perhaps that will make my drawings better. Lots of coffee and a little bit of palsy. Onti writes, perhaps too old to start with drawing. It's a long road, my friend. Too old for lots of things, I think. Yes, I am well aware of how I'm pretty darn old for the audience on Twitch. Boy, I've been drawing on this part 2 for 38 minutes already. This is an all-day cartoon, I'm afraid. Still not happy with my Cruz. Might want to go back and look at what I did with him before. Daniel Tunes writes on Twitch, where do you sell your originals? Go on, give your art a plug. I've thought about putting up a site for selling originals, but no, I don't have a place for it. I just, somebody emails me once in a while. I don't sell a lot of originals. I think Ted Cruz needs a more ambitious nose. His nose really is fun. And also that upper lip that wants to hang back behind his nose, that's fun too. That's a little better. That was wrong. I think I need to get away from him for a few minutes and come back. Let's draw Chris Christie for a minute. Oop, phone is ringing. I need to silence that, sorry. Sorry about that. Ugh. Boy, Federal Express, next door, making noise, building a house, and the phone ringing. So please subscribe to my feed. I'm new to doing this. You can see that I need to build up an audience and get some subscribers, both on YouTube and on Twitch. So if you would, I appreciate it. He doesn't really have a weak jaw, does he? He's just got that big fat neck. Okay, let's do Chris Christie for a few minutes. And, you know, just so you know what Chris Christie looks like. There's Chris Christie. That's what I'm looking at. So remember, follow me on Twitch, subscribe to me on YouTube, and I really appreciate your help. Daniel Tunes writes, no bibs? You know, I'm kind of... Well, I should do a bib on Christie, huh? I've got things going on in the bib area. He's a droopy-eyed guy, too. Okay. His nose is quizzical since you don't get good angles on it in the photo scrap. Everything working okay on YouTube? I've stopped getting YouTube comments. kind of a nominal Christie. Well, I don't know. I'll have to get some distance on Christie as well. The cartoonists like to draw Christie's head like a big triangle. Ah, I hear that YouTube is doing fine. Thank you. I think you guys are just quiet. So you see my eyes darting around. I'm looking to see if there's a comment, and I'm looking back up at Chris Christie. I've got two monitors here. I'm sorry if you guys are getting your feeds to freeze, but I think if that happens, just refresh your window because the feeds are working. My feeds here, I'm looking at both YouTube and Twitch. And they look okay. Yeah, Chris Christie needs coming back too. Although I think Ted Cruz is looking a little better than I thought a minute ago. It's fascinating to see how the cartoonists around the world just despise Donald Trump. Had quite a few Donald Trump as Hitler, which seems kind of ridiculous, but that's what one of the first metaphors you see. Hitler, Hitler, Hitler. You know, Chris Christie's cheek doesn't really pull back into his chin. He just becomes wider, doesn't he? Now that is really wrong. Daniel Toons on Twitch writes, do you ever use screenshots from video for face reference? I find it helpful to get expressions and angles desired. The problem I have with video is that I like to look at the screen for reference whenever I want, and video requires me to pay attention to the video for whenever the video is right. So just having a lot of little images that come up on YouTube is actually preferable for me. There have been times when a news story is about a video, and you really have to look at the video to get the right reference, but in general, no. I don't care for the video. It would be nice for things like body language, but they do the same thing in video that they do in these little still shots, which is you don't get the full body, you don't get the body language. They'll show that for an instant, then they come in straight on the face. I think that idea of drawing everybody as a cat, as a cute kitty, is a good genius idea. I think probably just the nature of these things being political cartoons makes them a bit less popular than if I was just drawing kitty cartoons. I've never quite figured out the reason why all these stick figure web cartoons are so popular. One thing about new web cartoonists is that they don't seem to care so much about the drawing skills that used to absorb us so much in the old days. Let's go back to Christie for a little bit. Try him again. Yep, that's wrong. I think he's a little better now. Almost all the photographs of him, he's got his mouth closed. But when he opens his mouth, he's got some nice asymmetry going. Nice big under the chin. That's kind of genericing him up. I'm going to draw other things for a while, come back to Christy. So please do subscribe to me on Twitch and like me on YouTube. I would appreciate that. Still up in the air whether it's even feasible for editorial cartoonists to do the live streaming. I'm sorry, follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube. Gosh, Christy's looking terrible. Gotta stop picking at him. So I've got to remember not to say subscribe on Twitch because that means pay for the service. It's follow on Twitch because I am free. I do not cost anything. What a deal. So, is anybody interested in seeing me color this cartoon when I'm done with it? Should I do another video for that, or is that just boring? The reason I keep coming back to Christy is that I need to resolve his neck in order to decide what to do with his chest, whether I give him a bib or not. He's the elephant in the room. Too Senseless on Twitch writes, "This is awesome, Daryl. What is your lighting setup? You look really good." Oh! Look really good is what I like to hear. I bought 6 little lamps at Home Depot, and I got nice little LED sunlight bulbs to put in them. And I put a piece of white paper over them so that the light is diffused. And I have them around the room lighting up the green screen behind me. Oh, there's a little spot of green screen. Let's clear that away. There. Got this giant green screen behind me. And I've got a camera in front of my nose. And the microphone right here as I tap it. So everything is really squeezed in right here on top of my face. The green screen about a foot behind me. And 6 little lights with white paper on them, pointing in all the different directions. Danny Tunes writes, no need. Oh, no read to read on webcast. Okay, we'll skip that one. Scott PCT Witch writes, hi, cool political cartoons and funny. Thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate the kind words. Christy actually has a very expressive nose, which loses all of its expressiveness when he's seen from a front view. So it actually makes it a little bit hard to deal with. Excuse me. He gets this tuft that comes down in front. Sometimes he's had a haircut and his hair is short. Sometimes his hair is kind of puffy. And that's a problem. Two Senseless writes, did you just start streaming recently? Excuse me. Yes. This is new for me. I'm still trying to develop the skill. Trying to talk while I draw is challenging. But I look at these other streams on the creative area and Twitch where people don't talk, and you want them to talk. Sit there quietly the whole time. That's not what you want from a stream. I also don't want them playing their music. Oh, Christy needs more work. He's not looking right. Let's come back to him later. Two Senseless writes, welcome to Twitch. Scott PC Twitch writes, the Donald Trump Piper is hilarious, great. Oh, thank you. You know, in that Donald Trump Piper cartoon, I was thinking of him leading the kids out of town rather than leading the rats out of town. And I find that people think that he's leading the rats out of town. And I hadn't really considered that. I thought I was drawing these cute little elephants. Everybody would know those are the kids being led out of town, but no, they don't know that. I have a... Oh, well, kind words from Danny Tunes that I don't have to read on the air. Okay. Two Senseless asks if you don't mind that I tweet out your stream. I really appreciate your tweeting out my stream. That's very nice of you. Chat moderator bot on Twitch. I don't understand that one. Chat moderator bot. Oh, his arm's too short compared to the other ones. This is really a lousy Christie. I think I'm happy with the other guys so far, but this Christie just kind of sucks. See if I can do something with him, but yeah, his nose is wrong. So Nightbot is the bot mod to do announcements. What the hell? I don't understand that, Theo. But it would be nice to do announcements. Scott PC Twitch writes, that's a default bot you can edit, customize to help you with stuff. Ah! So it just comes in and kind of reminds me that I should be using it. It would be nice to have some things that help me with stuff. So yes, you can see that I'm new to all this. I hadn't quite decided if I wanted to put up a little box in the upper left that shows the Twitch comments. But if many of you are going to comment saying, don't read this, perhaps I shouldn't. Don't read this aloud. Oh, let's try. Well, gosh, it looks more like him without his nose, doesn't it? The nose is the problem. He's got a big nose, but it's a swoopy ski nose that you don't see when you look at him straight on. That nose is wrong, but it looks more like him, huh? Bots are very useful, writes Two Senseless. Well, Theo tells me he'll make a custom IRC bot later on. I think I would like custom bots. I think custom bots sound like fun. Theo, make me a custom bot. Alright, now his nose is looking lousy now, but for some reason it makes him look more like Christy, and I haven't quite figured that out yet. Let's try it again. Custom bots. Caglebot has a nice ring to it, writes Two Senseless. What? Scott PC Twitch wants to request a song. What do you do if you want to watch 2 or 3 people's drawing tables, and they're all playing their friggin' music? You can't listen to anybody. Yes, I don't read all of the comments. Just gotta mute the darn music, huh? I like the idea of having multiple videos open and looking at different people's drawing boards. In fact, I would love it if there were a lot of editorial cartoonists doing this and you could look at multiple editorial cartoonists drawing boards at the same time. That would be nice. There are some particular cartoonists that I would love to watch work. Use multi-Twitch to watch multiple streams. That's kind of interesting. Pentagonal Warrior joins us. Nice to see you here. Pentagonal Warrior. YouTube people seem to have gone silent. Got a baby bottle here. Yeah, I could end up being one of these guys with the stream running all friggin' day long. When I do cartoons like this that take all friggin' day long, I'm in past the 3rd hour on this one. Hello, Amalith. Nice to see you here. Yeah, I'm not happy with my Christie, but I think it kind of looks like him. Not quite sure what to do about that. Well, sorry to lose you, Amalith, but thank you for stopping in. Nice to know that I'm yours, Pentagonal Warrior. I do like this creative community on Twitch. I like the idea of looking in on people's drawings tables. And that's really the way to learn to draw. Just watching people, how they go about it is great. I wish I had a resource like this when I was starting out. Okay, let's move on to Ben Carson here. And just so you know, this is what I'm looking at when I'm looking up at my screen in front of me. So, Ben Carson. Pentagonal writes, do you take inspiration from the Monster Mash? I guess that's an inspiring song, huh? You guys want to make music requests. the music on these streams. I just don't get that. I'm not a music kind of guy. Before I was streaming, I would play CNN and Fox News and MSNBC on the TV all the time. Listen to the talking heads. I would not listen to music. Yeah, Too Senseless. It is a lovely community. The creative community on Twitch. All very nice. Nice to see them do this. I don't know that it has the same kind of potential audience as the video games, but good to reach out to different audiences. Yeah, I think that's what he looks like. Oh, Theo has Nightbot automatically posting. That's kind of cute. Very nice, Theo. Yeah, I think that's a good looking Ben Carson. Give his upper lip some shade. His beard is easily overlooked, and I'm not sure it even adds to his caricature. Why do I draw Ben Carson's lips so big? Am I a racist? You know, that was an argument for years about drawing Obama. Do you want to do a particular kind of caricature of him to de-emphasize the features that would define your drawing as being racist? And I think what happened was the cartoonist just stopped worrying about that. What's a bit troubling about Ben Carson's lips is that they're very symmetrical. Pentagonal Warrior. You're off on a politically incorrect streak here. Okay, I started giving him a businessman's collar when what he needs is a baby shirt. Yeah, you know, Too Senseless writes, Daryl, do you have a favorite drawing cartoon that you have drawn? No, I don't really. Hard to think of a favorite. If I'm doing well, the latest one I drew will be my favorite, but this one is not going to be my favorite because I'm look at it and I see too many errors I want to futz with. Oh boy, the neighbors are doing noisy stuff now. Okay. So he's kind of got a squared off head, but the top of his head is very round. So let's give him a bit of that. He is actually supposed to be a baby. There's nothing baby about that head, huh? I really haven't gone too baby with any of these heads. If I drew them too much as babies, you're not going to know who they are. Ooh, the neighbors are using loud power tools. He needs wider nostrils. You know, he doesn't really have that wide a nose. His nose is looking kind of properly proportioned, I think. So you can have a bib on under here. Ah. Schmaze writes, hello from Germany. I really like your style of drawing. How did you get into streaming, may I ask? Well, how did I get into streaming? The jury is still out on streaming and me. I'll have to see if I can develop a develop an audience for this. That remains to be seen. But I'll try it for a while, give it a shot. I'm getting maybe 500 or 600 people to look at the videos after I post them, which is good, I think. Theo just banned our first visitor. He was posting some rude comments. Thank you, Theo. First person we've banned. Theo, you are an excellent moderator. Theo thinks the comments here are exceptionally polite and is surprised that it took so long to find somebody that needed to be banned. I think that's true. Boy, an hour and a half here on the second video, which is after the first 2 hours. I'm really spending all day on this puppy. Goodness. Yes, I think you Twitch viewers are really very nice. I think there's I agree with Theo that you're more friendly and polite than the general gaming population. My son does Twitch broadcast gaming. It's quite the what should I say? Quite the energetic environment. Energetic, I guess. Speaking as the too old guy for the audience. Shmaze writes, well, I'm just asking, how did you get into Twitch? Because, well, how to put it nicely, you're not exactly the gaming generation that normally is on Twitch. Well, you know, last October, Twitch started doing this creative community and allowing guys like me to stream even when we're not part of the gaming community, and that's nice. And then the YouTube streaming is also very new. I'm not sure if that's still in beta, but if it's not, it just recently got out. And so, you know, the opportunity for doing this is new. And what the hell? I'll give it a try. It's gonna take a while to convince my my editorial cartooning colleagues to do something like this, because this is pretty darn culturally different for them. Their newspapers are all over trying to get them to do video and do more audience engagement, write more stuff in their blogs, share more of their process. But the cartoonists are resistant to that because it's more work that they're not getting paid for. Now, I'm different in that I don't have a publication. I'm the syndicate guy. I just draw for myself. Boy, there's some wacky perspective going on. And I feel the same way. I need to get some new stuff going on. I like the idea of having a different kind of audience. I noticed that most of the comments and questions here are process-oriented. Artists asking artist questions. And I didn't quite know what to expect from that, although that it seems kind of reasonable. I thought I might have political discussions with people, which hasn't really happened. That's okay. It's a how-to audience. we've thought of doing more how-to stuff on Cagle.com and doing how-to videos. We'll have to see how these go, and then if these are successful, I'm going to try to pitch them to the other cartoonists in our group and give them a bunch of help in setting up their podcasting, because it is not an easy transition to make, and the tech aspects of it are rather daunting. I've made lots of errors that took time to figure out how to get past. Two Senseless writes, I love watching you create this. I honestly would love to see how you ink and color this. Well, this is the inking process, Two Senseless. This is the final art that you see that I am doing now. The final art is hard pencil. This will be scanned in high resolution so that it looks more like ink. People think I draw in ink. And then I'll color it on my Wacom Cintiq in Photoshop. Two Senseless writes, I think there are a lot of streamers that avoid political discussions in their chat, so maybe people are being cautious. I didn't notice much caution in that fellow that Theo just banned. But there is an air of politeness here that I was kind of surprised to see. You never know quite what to expect. Schmaze writes, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it that people with actual experience in the industry are starting to stream on Twitch. I think there's so much to learn from someone who's been drawing for a longer time. Cool. Thank you for the kind words, Schmaze. Yeah, I don't see many people on Twitch who do quite the kind of work that I am really wanting to watch people stream, but it is interesting to watch some of these people who have entirely different skill sets. I think the sculptors are interesting to watch. Well, his feet are wrong, but they're kind of funny. Let's get rid of him. I'm going to stick with Chris Christie's face here, even though it's lousy. It is kind of capturing the likeness, and I probably shouldn't lose that, even though I think it's kind of lousy. His nose is wrong, but his nose looks like him. You folks on YouTube have gone silent. Neighbors hammering right outside my window. So my apologies for that. Two Senseless writes, I think you're definitely the first political cartoonist I've seen on Twitch. There are lots of painters and manga artists. Yep, I don't quite get the manga thing. You know, in Japan, they're absolutely cartoon crazy. People read the manga on the subways. They've got all these manga stores that are really quite impressive. But they don't have any political cartoonists. And they think, I think culturally, that political cartoons are rude. You walk down the street and you'll see cartoon characters at store after store. Stores have their own cartoon characters. And they're cartoon crazy society, but no editorial cartoonists. What the bloody hell? We're rude. You know, a lot of that manga is pretty darn rude. You know, lots of rape and sex and crap. But editorial cartoons are rude? What the hell? So, Schmaze writes, about political discussion, most Twitch viewers are either too young or not really interested in politics, and as Two Senseless said, in most streams it's not really accepted to talk about politics because it can get really heated. Alright. I don't mind heated. So, at this point, I think my next cartoon, which I was going to draw today instead of this one, except that Donald Trump dunked out of the debate and this became the story, was going to be Donald Trump with Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz is naked, and he's got a Canadian maple leaf covering up his junk, and I'm going to have Donald Trump standing next to him, pointing at his maple leaf junk. And that struck me as funny. Oh, Theo, you're getting compliments on your moderation. Excellent. Chris Christie his footrest. So can I ask you guys, if I was to take like an half an hour off to scan and stuff and come back and do the color in another video, would you be interested in watching the color, or is that just too dull? Okay, I think these guys need a little bit more crud going on. Huh. I was thinking of doing a baby food jar there, but that didn't look right, did it? We can do another bottle, do another sippy cup. Right, let's do a sippy cup. Ah, sippy cup. Yeah, Theo, I think you're an expert moderator. We need a much bigger audience for this to get rowdy. So any of you, if you would pass along a link or tweet, and certainly please subscribe and follow, I appreciate it. Schmaze, where are you again at 11:50 p.m.? That's Eastern Europe. Oh, Theo, you're ambitious. Ah, Germany, of course. Boy, Germany's got all kinds of craziness going on. One problem with being an American cartoonist is that the news from other countries really takes a backseat to the American news. And if I were to draw much about, for example, the migrant crisis in Germany, it's going to get drowned out by Donald Trump here. And, you know, if I draw this, it's going to get reprinted everywhere, particularly if it goes out today when they're all talking about this. But I could, if I drew Angela Merkel today, or any day, it's not going to get reprinted much. Well, I'm getting close to being finished here. Am I happy with everybody? I guess so. All right. I will sign it. Where am I going to sign it? I'll sign it over here. Get rid of that part of the drawing behind it. Okay, DarylCagle.com over there. Oh, thank you for the tweet, Too Senseless. I appreciate that. I need to squeeze a politicalcartoons.com into here somewhere. Put it over here. I've started signing my cartoons DarylCagle.com instead of just Daryl Cagle, because I think it's too much to expect editors to accept 2 URLs in a cartoon. But one of them's my signature, so it's not really like it's 2 URLs. Alright, do I want more crud going on? Do I have enough crud going on? Let's give Jeb Bush some crud. I'm just hunting around for stuff to futz with now. See you later, schmaze. Have a nice night's sleep. If I do end up coloring this on Twitch, you will see the video of it in my archive. So this drawing took me almost 4 hours. 4 stinking hours. Let's look at Marco Rubio again. Is he not looking good enough? Marco Rubio. That's Marco Rubio. Huh. He's got much more chin. I took away his chin. Thanks for the kind words, John H. on YouTube. You know, Marco Rubio has great big ears. Am I done here? Am I just fiddling endlessly? John writes, the Fox moderator would have been fun. Yeah, you know, there's a limit to the complexity. How much can you draw? Boy, the neighbors are noisy right now. That chin is bitter. Oh, as a Disney princess, of course. Megyn Kelly. I thought her question that made Trump angry was inappropriately rude. And I have to admit that I think Trump is being pretty clever to skip this debate. And let all these babies muck each other up while he stands aside. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got you all looking at Marco Rubio. Somebody tell me when I do that. All right, here it is. This is the finished art. And you can see it a little bit better if I pluck it off the rough sketch that's behind it, showing through. Remember the rough sketch? So I toss it behind me, and here's the final art, which I think, you know, it looks like a ink drawing. I think my stuff generally looks like an ink drawing. Anyway, I'm going to scan this and color it, and I'm going to say goodbye to you folks, and thank you for watching, and please again follow and subscribe, and thank you so much. And I'm not quite sure if I'm going to color this in a video, but if I do, you will see me reappearing here coloring the cartoon. And thank you again. See you guys later.